So I feel so happy and so proud to be in conversation with Shyamala garu. The last few days I've been reading her stories. I attempted reading the Telugu, but I was not too successful in understanding the diction so much, though I do know Telugu, especially speaking it. And then I read the English translations, and I really must say that I learned a lot. I learned a lot reading the stories, and then I did internet searches on some of the mentions in them and some of the backgrounds, and it really has been an edifying experience for me. What I loved about her writing was that these are actually, they are literature, of course. They are fiction, but they are like life fiction. They are life stories. They're not entirely invented. Actually, they are very solidly based on actual life. So the first question really that I have for you is, how did you begin to do that? And what were the historical or biographical events that led to that for you, that inspired you, motivated you, triggered you to start writing these kind of stories?
It's a big question. Thank you, Mani Rao garu.
Yeah. And if you want, Shyamala garu, if you want to speak in Telugu, I can translate for them as you wish. Yeah.
యాక్చువల్గా నేను షార్ట్ స్టోరీస్ ఎన్నుకోవడానికే ఒక కాంటెక్స్ట్ ఉంది, ఒక హిస్టారికల్ కాంటెక్స్ట్. ఈ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ అంతా మై విలేజ్ అండ్ కమ్యూనిటీ అండ్ మై జర్నీ టు సిటీ. మళ్ళీ హైయర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో మిస్ అయిన జీవితాలు, హైయర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో మిస్ అయిన పర్సెప్షన్స్, అంతేకాకుండా లిటరేచర్, తెలుగు లిటరేచర్లో 2 స్టేట్స్, తెలంగాణ అండ్ ఆంధ్ర, తెలుగు లిటరేచర్లో మిస్ అయిన జీవితాలు.
She says the lives that were missing from literature
and academician.
Yeah, when she discovered about what was not there in the literature that she was reading.
అయితే వాటిని నేను నా 40 ఏళ్ళ వయసులో ఒక రీసెర్చ్లో, మూమెంట్స్లో, అట్లాగే లిటరేచర్లో చదవడము, అన్నీ చదివిన తర్వాత బయోగ్రఫీస్ అనేది ఎన్నుకున్నాను. అంతకుముందు ఇంకా వేరే రాశాను, కానీ ఈ బయోగ్రఫీసు ఊరికే రిపోర్టింగ్ లాగా కాకుండా ఒక స్టోరీ లాగా చెప్పడము అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనుకో. ఎందుకంటే స్టోరీస్ చాలామంది ఇష్టపడతారు చదవడానికి. పీపుల్స్ లవ్స్ టు రీడ్ stories, short stories.
So when she came to her 40s, she discovered that she wanted to write more biographical material, because people like to read stories. It's not just news.
Reporting.
It's not just reporting and journalistic.
And also language, politics of language, diction, agricultural diction, and people's work culture, productive culture. Adanta kuda diction is missed in the mainstream.
So actually, Shyamala garu, I'll just pick from something you said very interesting in one of the other conversations, which I found on media. She said that she saw the representation of a mother and father, where the father is always reading the newspaper and the mother is in the kitchen. Whereas her exposure to her community's life was a shared work culture. It was not, and the going to the fields and sharing in the workload, and that kind of representation was entirely missing in the mainstream representations, and she wanted to bring that life into the mainstream language. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, true. Your observation is thank you for this, actually.
But what is the historical event that led to that trigger? Like your outrage came from what?
We have so many definitions of family and duties of head of the family, duties of mother, definition of gruhini, definition of labor women. We have so many definitions. Um, and also our lessons for children, school syllabuses, head of the family, who is the head of the family.
No, somewhere else
I missed my father, head of the family. My father always works with the field. My mother work with the kitchen and field. These work and their culture not representing in our lessons and literature. That is.
Yeah. But Shyamala, can you tell us about, you talked about how the Chundur massacre really impacted you. Ambedkar's writings really impacted you. Phule's writings really impacted you. I think these are important influences on you, which led you to wanting to express that. And I'm sure the audience would love to hear about that. That's why I'm pushing you. I hope you don't mind too. Yeah.
So welcoming. ఒక ఆఫ్టర్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ చాలా కల్చరల్గా ఏమన్నా మార్పు వచ్చిందా అంటే ఏం మార్పు రాలేదు యాక్చువల్గా. విలేజెస్లో చెప్పులు వేసుకొని నడవకూడదు, లేకుంటే ఎవరన్నా డామినెంట్ కాస్ట్, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ సేయింగ్ అప్పర్ కాస్ట్, డామినెంట్ కాస్ట్ దొరాస్ వాళ్ళందరూ వచ్చినప్పుడు లేచి నిలబడాలి ఠకామని. ఇప్పుడు చదువుకుంటున్న వాళ్ళు లేచి నిలబడకపోతే ఇంట్లో ఫాదరో తాతనో అమ్మమ్మనోనే తిడతారు, ఏలే అని వీళ్ళే భయపెడతారన్నమాట.
After independence there was not much change that you observed.
Cultural and subordination.
You had to take your shoes off in the villages and walk, and the dominant caste was still oppressing other castes.
అది ఇన్విజిబుల్ సప్రెషన్, ఇన్విజిబుల్ అన్టచబిలిటీ మనం చాలా ప్లేస్లలో చూస్తాం. మామూలుగా 2 glasses సిస్టమ్, దూరం ఉండు, స్టే అవే we can see this form of, but this inbuilt untouchability we can't recognize that. I am also నేను మా దళిత వాడలో పరిశీలిస్తున్నప్పుడు అసలు ఎవ్వరికి మాట్లాడడం కానీ ఎదురుగా నిలబడడం కానీ అసలు కల్చరే కాదనమాట. అట్లాంటప్పుడు ఇంకా మా ఏరియాలో చాలా స్ట్రగుల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. యాంటీ ల్యాండ్ లార్డ్ స్ట్రగుల్స్, యాంటీ అరాక్ మూమెంట్ ఉంది. ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నప్పటికీ ఈ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్విజిబుల్ హైరార్కికల్ కల్చరల్ అనేది ఇంకా ఆ కండిషన్స్ మారలేదు. చాలా రెబెల్గా యాంటీ ఫ్యూడల్, యాంటీ ల్యాండ్ లార్డ్ హీరోస్ ఉంటారు, కానీ తీరా ఈ కులం వరకు వచ్చే వరకు దళితులు కూడా ఆ కులం యొక్క ట్రెడిషన్ ఫాలో కావడం అనేది చాలా భయంకరం అన్నమాట.
He says the horrifying aspect is that the Dalits mindset is not yet taking on the rebellions of, let us say, there was an anti-Arak movement or a land fighting movement. At the same time, they still do not stand in front of the upper caste or speak up against. So there is that oppressed mindset.
And that is not dharmam.
Yeah. They are already mentally subjugated. So therefore, your stories bring that out.
Yeah,
right?
Not only stories, this Chunduru and
Chundur massacre
context I am trying to explain here. ఒక కాంటెక్స్ట్లో 90sలో అంబేద్కర్ రైటింగ్స్, కుల నిర్మూలన అంటే హనీలేషన్ ఆఫ్ క్యాస్ట్ అండ్ ఫూలే యొక్క గులాంగిరి, స్లేవరీ, ఈ పుస్తకాలు తెలుగులోకి ట్రాన్స్లేట్ కావడము, అప్పుడప్పుడే చదువుకుంటున్న వాళ్ళు ఆ పుస్తకాలను చదవడము, అది ఒక గొప్ప కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఇచ్చిందనమాట. అరే మనం మాట్లాడవచ్చు, మన తాతకు మన నాన్నకు తెలియదు, వీళ్ళకి చదువు లేదు కాబట్టి మాకు చదువు ఉంది కాబట్టి నేను గులాంగిరి చదవగలను, అనిలేషన్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ చదవగలను, ఇగో ఇది అని తల్లిదండ్రులకు కూడా ఒక ఎవిడెన్స్గా ఒక రైటింగ్ ఈజ్ సో సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్.
So in the 90s, she felt this surge of confidence and inspiration through the Telugu translations of the works of Ambedkar and Phule. Yeah. And so that was
ఇది ఇంట్లో
a
ఉన్నప్పటికీ
step forward for her.
మళ్ళీ మన వాళ్ళకి ఎట్లుంటుందంటే అది ఎప్పుడో ఫూలే 200 years బ్యాక్, అంబేద్కర్ 70 years బ్యాక్. ఇప్పుడు అంతా
But the translation is in the 90s into Telugu. So that was a very important step for her.
అయితే అందరూ నౌ దట్ కండిషన్ ఈజ్ వీ కాంట్ సీ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఈజ్ సో హ్యాపెన్ సో మచ్ చేంజెస్. We are in the living in the equal conditions. We are getting education, some employment. This where is untouchability? So we need to show caste discrimination as a evidence.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, because we only have a half an hour, I want to jump into your stories immediately so that the audience gets a little bit better
that
idea.
Yeah. That evidence we find the Chunduru massacre and Karamchedu.
Yeah, Karamchedu and Chinduru
అవి
massacre.
ఒక ఎవిడెన్స్. అంటే కాస్ట్ అట్రాసిటీస్ కేవలము ఈ కులం దళితులైనందుకు మాత్రమే వాళ్ళని కిల్.
Yeah, she's saying the Chundur massacre and the Karamchedu events are the evidence for the continuity of caste atrocities.
Yes.
So that
existed.
Yes.
Existed and continuity.
No, you are very clear. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is really the step into the heart of your stories. I want to explain that, which is in some stories you will see, and they are all many stories are translated into English. There is a book by Navayana, right?
And
Tilted Axis Press has another book. These are translations of her short stories. In some stories, the incidents are quite horrifying. You're actually depicting them. In some others, it's in the background. The caste differences and atrocities and mindsets are in the background in some. And it comes through in the events and dialogues, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I will share a paragraph or two from your stories so that we can like really appreciate that.
Yeah, please.
So here in this, what happens is that there is a Dalit character who is beaten and nobody gives water. Everybody closes their doors on him. Idi em story andi?
Radam.
Huh?
Radam.
Ranam.
Round English, Telugu Radam. Radam.
Ranam. Okay.
Ranam, sanitized language lo Ranam.
Okay.
Radam is our language.
Okay.
Telangana.
What does it mean?
Round.
Round.
Pachipundu.
Oh, raw wound. Yes, I remember now. The story is called Raw Wound. Yeah. She realized that it was not her moment, ran and brought the mug. The landlady poured water. As she carried the leaky mug back, all the water drained away. She flung the mug to the ground and looked around her. The doors of all the houses were shut. The Reddy Komati neighborhood was deserted. There was no chance of getting water anywhere. Just then, the Mala woman, Kashama, was returning from work to feed her child. She looked at Anantama and asked, "What happened, my aunt? Why are you crying?" "Your uncle has no water to drink and is half dead," replied Anantama. "Ayyo, he is in such a bad condition," Kashama replied. Then she had a wild idea and hesitated, looking around furtively. "We could give him some breast milk at least," she suggested. Anantama looked at her, speechless with gratitude. Both of them hurried to Balappa's side. Anantama cupped her palm and Kashama squeezed milk from her breast to fill it up. Anantama carefully poured the milk into Balappa's mouth. In this way, Kashama gave 7 or 8 palms full of milk. They put some of the milk on the wound. "Enough. You need to feed the baby," said Anantama. So this is really a turn in that story where he is beaten. He's beaten because he sends his daughter to school because in the village there is a plot to recruit her into the life of a jogini.
Yeah.
and he wants to save his daughter from that fate and sends her away, and then he gets attacked by the dominant caste. So that is one example of a story. What I would love you to share with the audience is a little bit more about your literary art. How is it that you write short stories and not novels? And why? How do you come up with the germ of the story? Are you drawing only from your memory of various incidents? How does the story start?
Yeah.
Why short story?
Yes, I like short stories to telling and writing because my community itself, storytelling community.
Okay.
My grandmother, mother, even my father used to tell so many stories.
Pani Pata.
Pani Pata.
Pani Pata means work and
And
song, which is the arts. And Shyamala Garu talks about how in the Dalit community, the arts are really important.
Yeah. పని ఎక్కువ టైర్డ్ అయినప్పుడు పాటలు పాడి రిలాక్స్ అయిపోతారు.
When they're too tired, they relax by singing.
అట్లాంటి కల్చర్లో ఇట్లా విమెన్ బాగా ఫీల్డ్లో వంగి ప్లాంటింగ్ అట్లా చేసినప్పుడు కాస్త బ్యాక్ పెయిన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు పాటలు పాడి మళ్ళీ
when they bend in the fields and they're sowing and then they get pain in the back and then they relax by singing. So that was your environment anyway, and so storytelling was the main thing.
My community, my family members, and also నాకు కూడా చాలా ఇష్టం.
She likes telling stories. You used to write Burrakatha before you started writing literary fiction, which is the folk. Is that the correct translation? Can I call that folk songs? It's an art form. Okay. And now it is in writing short fiction that you do that.
These short stories, readers also short, no? They will love to read short. Novels చదవడానికి they don't have time.
Okay. So this is for greater audience reach?
Audience.
Okay.
మళ్ళీ ఒక ఫోకస్, నేను ఇష్టపడే ఏదన్నా ఇన్సిడెంట్, ఇన్నర్ పాయింట్, ఇది షార్ట్ స్టోరీ ఫార్మ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ కన్వీనియంట్.
ఓకే.
మళ్ళీ నేను అదొక సిచ్యువేషన్, ఒక కండిషన్. తర్వాత నేను నవల రాశాను.
ఓకే. You've written long fiction? Okay.
It's also translating by my translator, Dr. Kalwala, Divya Kalwala.
Hello. Yeah.
It's now it's going.
Oh, okay. It's going to be
Telugu. I completed.
Oh, I see.
It's
okay.
Going translation.
Okay.
That is నేను చాలా స్టోరీస్ రాశాను కదా, ఇప్పుడు ఒక నవల రాద్దాం అనే టైప్.
Oh, very good. Interesting. Time for a novel.
Yeah. And also షార్ట్ స్టోరీస్లో ఇంతకుముందు నేను చేసిన రీసెర్చ్, నా ఫైండింగ్స్, విలేజ్లో జరిగిన ఇన్సిడెంట్స్, మా ఏరియాలో ఇంకా సిటీలో ఎక్కడ ఇన్సిడెంట్స్ అన్నీ కూడా, ఈవెన్ సిటీలో మాన్యువల్ స్కావెంజింగ్ డెత్స్, అందుట్లో దిగే వాళ్ళ లైఫ్స్, అవన్నీ కూడా నా రీసెర్చ్లో భాగంగా నేను చేసినవి షార్ట్ స్టోరీస్లో పెడుతున్నా.
A lot of material that she has come across in her research, as well as the memories earlier, she has brought into her literature. Shyamala Garu, we only have 5 minutes. I want to read some other small excerpt to show the audience the literary side.
Sure.
Yeah. So in her stories, what I'd like to point out is, she said before, it's not like reporting. It's not just a sequence of events. She really animates the moments and gives life to it. So for example, here, it was spring and the joa plants were pregnant with seed. Sparrows swooped, circled and dived among the plants, waiting to eat grain as they burst out of the ears. Unlike these impatient sparrows, the wise crows, as if knowing that the time was not yet ripe, flew confidently across the fields in groups. The trial begins when the ears pop and the grain comes out. This is when a guard platform must be put up in the middle of the field. This is because the field is just by the road and is overrun with melon creepers. When the cowherds come, the cows will run into the field and crush the jowar plants. Passers-by will pluck the raw ears of jowar to roast as a tasty snack. This is why one person must remain on watch day and night in this crucial period. Now, Sangama has a 2-month job at the field. So you see, instead of just straight away going into Sangama at the field, she's giving you like actually very lovingly, she's recapturing what's going on. So you get an entry into the landscape and the milieu and the lives of the people when you're describing nature or etc. Sometimes it is, yeah, yeah.
food grains.
It sounds like you miss your growing up hometown a lot from your stories.
Yeah, that is also different.
Okay.
I'm missing my village shape and structure now.
Yeah, shape and structure and language probably also.
Language also.
Yeah.
They are missing trees and missing greenery and jawari. They are not cultivating jawari. They are all cultivating cotton.
Yeah. So the
commercial
gone
craft.
era. Yeah. Thank you.